Hello, everyone. Uh, the past week or so hasn't really been necessarily the best for me in my personal private life, and that's because about last week, on Thursday or Friday, I don't really remember what day it was specifically. Honestly, that whole day was just a blur because of the news that I had been told news that I was told that I really desperately didn't want to hear. I didn't want to happen. News that I had honestly been driving myself crazy about because this was something that I truly was fearing about day in and day out, constantly, creating images and scenarios in my head of the situation of how it could possibly happen and how I would react to that specific situation. But ultimately, when the situation happened, for real this time in real life, I broke down and I was a shell of my former self. I wasn't who I was before. If you had watched my previous Boruto episode review, you would have been able to tell just through the commentary itself that I had not been feeling very too well because I had to make that review just a couple of days after I was told the news that my mom died. Last week I was told that my mom passed away, and I'm sitting here at around 3 o'clock in the morning with everyone in my house in bed asleep, and the only thing that I can really think about doing is to not think about it because thinking about the scenario and the situation and my mother no longer being alive and being around anymore, it hurts. This is the most painful experience I've ever had to go through in my life, and I've already went through a lot of very physical pain experiences in my life in a couple of different ways. But obviously, this is not a physical pain. This is a psychological, emotional pain, and this is something that I have to get through mentally on my own in my own time. And who knows how exactly I'm going to be able to get through any of this, but I mean, what am I supposed to really do? I'm making this video just to get my thoughts out there because I've had now a whole week to think about it, and I'm just destroyed. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to think. I don't know what exactly it is my purpose in life is to do from here on forward. The reason why I made videos was to eventually get to a point where I can make content that I enjoy making and that other people enjoy watching, and potentially get to a point where I can be stable and provide for my family financially and support my mother, because my mother is not the most fortunate woman in the world. She struggled a lot in her adult life from having my older brother at an early age and having me myself only a couple years later, and constantly just getting super unlucky with work, financial issues. She had to live with other people, specifically in a couple of different places. um uh she would get with different men, and with one guy she had two children with, and that's my younger brother and sister. And they now have to grow up into their adolescent years and through the rest of their childhood without their mother. And I'm 21. I'm 21 years old, so it's like I should already be at a point where I can take care of myself. I don't need a reliance on my mother, but this is still an experience that is going to haunt me for a good little while, because obviously no one wants to lose family, especially one such as important as your own mother. And all I really have to say about my mom is that she is the strongest person I have ever known in my entire life. Throughout all the trieds and tribulations of bad relationships and not being able to properly take care of herself, but also still at the same time just doing everything in her willpower to take care of my brother and I when we were younger, and then later on when she had to take care of my younger siblings. I admired her for that. I admired her tenacity and strength to keep going and keep moving forward and still trying to make it work, make life work, and make the best of things. That's what it seemed like she was truly trying to do, and I admire her for that so much. She's the strongest woman I have ever known in my entire life, and all I wanted to do was just find a way to be able to do something where I can properly take care of her and tell her like it's okay. She doesn't need to work so hard anymore, and she can rely on someone else. And now I can't do that. I can't do that anymore because she's gone. And I'm stuck in a position where I don't know what to do next. And it's hard. It's just hard. And I don't know what to do, what to say. All I can do is to try and distract my mind and not think so hard about it. Because thinking about it just hurts much more. But at the same time, I shouldn't forget, obviously, because this is my mom and I have to remember the good things about her and the great things that she did for me. My only regret though, if I'm to say one thing that I regret that I didn't do with my mom before she passed away, but also a memory that I seemingly cherish for some reason. Just this one memory distinctly just comes back into my mind whenever I think about my mom. One thing I regret not doing was meeting with her after I turned 21 because she passed away just a few days after I had turned 21. And after my birthday, I wanted to see her. I actually wanted to invite her over so she can just hang out with my grandparents and I, and we can just not have to worry about anything. We can just relax and talk and hang out. And I never did it because I had this weird stigma with feeling like she wouldn't care because I'm the middle kid. I'm the middle kid, and as a middle child, you typically feel like the parent doesn't care about you nearly as much as the older or the older and the younger children. But obviously, that wasn't the case. My mother, she loved us all equally, all four of her kids, and I regret not seeing her for my birthday, for my 21st birthday. But one memory I think about quite often, honestly, is uh, I forget how old I was and which birthday it was, but I was a kid, and at this point, my mom and dad, who weren't married, to be clear as well, uh, my mom wasn't home, and I just remember waking up that day for my birthday and just hanging around in my room, and my dad comes into my room and he tells me to come outside, and I didn't really know what it was about. I didn't know what I was supposed to be expecting, but I go outside and then I'm bombarded with my mom and my older brother, and they're spraying me with silly string, and then my dad joins in as well. I think. I distinctly remember my mom and my dad. I'm not sure about or my mom and my brother, but I'm not sure about my dad. Um, but I remember distinctly laughing and smiling and enjoying the experience and enjoying each other's company. And my mom and my dad weren't necessarily uh, the best together. They kind of brought out the worst in each other, and there's also a very bad memory with those two in particular together. But I try not to think about that. I try to think about the positive memories, and that just so happens to be one that I wanted to mention in this video. So I don't really want to keep you here any longer. I just wanted to make the video and get my thoughts out and just get them out there as a way of relieving stress and helping me mentally get through this. And that's all I really have to say. I That's all I have to say. Rest in peace, Mom. I love you.